Welcome to the Superbook Show.
Today, we have another letter for our Keeping It Real segment.
Terry writes in, Dear Superbook Show, I know the Bible calls us to give grace. Is there an exception to that rule if it's a really bad person? What do you think?
How bad are we talking?
I don't know, Terry didn't say in her letter.
There's an exception to every rule, right?
With a lot of things, yes. This gets a little tricky. Do you remember the Jonah episode of Superbook?
Maybe this time, we can help her make another choice.
I don't understand.
What if you and I go talk to her and give her a chance to come clean?
Come clean? Well, she's a crook.
Joy didn't want to give Sharon a second chance because of all the bad things she was doing, like stealing bikes and taking people's lunch money.
I remember that girl. Taking lunch from the mouths of hungry kids. Get her out of here.
So you think Sharon would be the exception to the rule?
By the way you're talking, I'm guessing the answer is no, but nobody takes lunch from me and expects grace.
Wow, that's serious.
Only grace I'm giving is the one I say before I eat my lunch.
Well, if lunch is that big of a deal, what about forgiving the people who were trying to kill you?
Trying to what now?
Jesus forgave the people who were trying to crucify him.
Forgive them, for they do not know what they do.
Okay. When Jesus was on the cross, he asked his Father to forgive the people who were crucifying him.
Okay, if there's an exception to the rule, that should definitely be it.
That totally makes sense, but the kind of love Jesus has defies the norm.
How in the world do you forgive someone who's trying to crucify you? Amazing.
Most definitely. Well, let's go back and see what Joy did.
I always thought that when someone does something wrong, they should be punished. But when I do the wrong thing, I'm pretty glad that God forgives.
Well, what do you think now?
I think Joy is right. I can't want grace for myself and think that someone else doesn't deserve grace when they're wrong.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
And how in the world could I be this mad over lunch when Jesus forgave an angry mob?
Jesus is the best example. However, I don't think that Christ calls us to willingly be victims or doormats.
I'm glad you said that because I was wondering.
In extreme cases, I think that grace should be offered in an appropriate manner.
So,
avoid and protect yourself from people who are known to be dangerous or violent. Even Paul often left cities when they became too dangerous to stay in.
Where's the grace in that?
The grace is not giving an eye for an eye, but just being ready to protect your eye. Nehemiah even went as far as to tell his men to arm themselves to protect those working on the wall.
You will all take weapons and guard the wall at its lowest points, or wherever there are still holes.
I think I get it. For the record, I've done my share of bad things, but I've never stolen anyone's lunch money.
Well, that reminds me. What happened to the sandwich I left in the fridge yesterday?
Okay. You made your point. Everyone needs grace.
What are you doing?
Protecting me eyes.
His word is forever alive. Whoosh. If you had a YouTube page, wouldn't you want someone to subscribe?
Or visit you on Facebook or your website like superbook.cvn.com.
See you soon.
For the record, I've done my share of bad things, but I've never stolen lunch money from anyone.
Now you said munch lunny.
What did I say?
You said munch lunny. I was like, what is that?
I was like, why are you laughing at me?
I've never taken anybody's lunch lunch.
I've never.